Does anybody have the number to Child Protective Services? Because I think they need to go down there to Charlotte, North Carolina and investigate, because I think we got an ongoing case of child neglect when it comes to Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. This offensive line has been god-awful for the whole entire preseason. And I don't give a damn about what starters haven't been playing, who's injured. Kim Ekwonu, who was one of the best rookie offensive tackles in the league last year, a top 10 pick by Carolina, allowed Kayvon Thibodeau to deliver a clothesline from hell, vintage JBL style, to Bryce Young on their best drive of the game. That offensive line is terrible. I don't know what happened to the Carolina Panthers offensive line that we saw last season, but the offensive line that we're seeing in the preseason looks really, really bad. And I don't care who's not playing, who's injured, because when the Kim Ekwonu is allowing his franchise quarterback to get clotheslined by Kayvon Thibodeau, there were some problems. There were some concerns. And I thought that the Carolina Panthers were going to have Bryce Young in an ideal situation to succeed. You got people talking about he got to get his experience. You know, he has to go through his growing pains. That's cool. But there's a difference between growing pains and allowing your franchise quarterback to get too many welcome to the NFL hits, bruh. Bryce Young has been opposing defensive line's practice dummy in the preseason. The New York Giants, or the New York Jets, they were looking at Bryce Young as target practice, man. And this past preseason, the Giants were looking at him in the same way. They're looking at him like a practice dummy. That's how the Carolina Panthers have been treating Bryce Young back there with this offensive line. You should not be experimenting with your offensive line in the preseason when you have a quarterback who is your future, who you want to be around for the next decade, to stay healthy. The biggest concern with Bryce Young coming out has been what? Durability. So why is it that the Carolina Panthers are allowing Bryce Young to get popped back there like the hits already ain't adding up? You don't want Bryce Young going into the season with already having a good amount of welts and bruises. I don't give a damn how tough he is. I love Bryce Young, and I think this brother is going to have a phenomenal career. That's if the Carolina Panthers can keep him healthy. Do y'all not remember what the hell happened to Andrew Luck? It wasn't too long ago when Andrew Luck was balling out for the Colts, but getting effed up because they couldn't protect the brother. Bryce Young is only 204 pounds. He's built like a preschooler. He's 204 pounds of silk and wet, and you're allowing him to get thrown around like a rag doll back there. The Panthers are looking like they're setting him up to fail. It doesn't matter if it's preseason. If your first string offensive line is getting beat by second stringers or even starters, that's a concern. You want your starting offensive linemen to dominate. It's not about the whole collective group. You can look at individual performances in the preseason too. People say the preseason doesn't matter. If one of my starting left tackles is getting beat by Kayvon Thibodeau, I'm going to be concerned. If this is the preseason, you should be dominating, because it's not the same speed that the regular season is. So miss me with that. It's the preseason. Growing pains. Yeah, you know what growing pains are going to get Bryce Young? Missing in action. It's crazy how people want to have concerns about his durability, but act like the preseason doesn't matter, like the hits are just non-existent in the preseason. They all hurt the same. Getting hit in the preseason is no different from getting hit in the regular season. The hits add up, bruh. Watch the Netflix quarterback documentary and look what happened to Kirk Cousins. All throughout the season, brother was getting banged up and bruised. And Bryce Young is probably already getting banged up and bruised, and we only 2 weeks into the preseason, man. And then these receivers, I'm not going to hold you. I think Carolina needs to make a trade for somebody. These receivers concern me just as much as the offensive line concerns me. Adam Thielen is cool, but he's like 30-something years old. He isn't really a dependable wide receiver one for you, and Carolina doesn't have a dependable wide receiver one. They don't have nobody on this roster that you can look at if you're Bryce Young when you need to make a play and you just need somebody to throw the football to bail you out. They don't have that. Jonathan Mingo is promising, Terrence Marshall is still a little promising, but you're still banking on potential. When you have a young quarterback, you would like for him to have a vet that he can depend on. And Adam Thielen, I don't know if he's the most dependable. He hasn't really been that impressive in the preseason. DJ Chark is okay, but he's just a really good deep threat. Are these really wide receivers that you can trust Bryce Young with? That they're going to be able to get open in crucial third down situations? I do like Hayden Hurst at tight end, but I mean, they just need a little bit more juice at the wide receiver position. This wide receiver position is incredibly concerning to me. And I think they're only one injury away from being SOL at wide receiver. They do got Laviska Shenault, but they kind of view him more as a gadget guy per se. I don't really know if these are any proven wide receivers that you can really look at and depend on. If they were to go out there and trade for an established wide receiver, or they go out and they sign like a savvy veteran, I feel like I would be a little bit more confident about Bryce Young's supporting cast coming in. You just would like him to have a proven number one, and they don't really have that. They got a lot of guys who are like low-end wide receiver 2s, wide receiver 3s, good deep threats. They don't really have a go-to. That kind of concerns me, and it's kind of evident in the preseason. It's like Bryce Young is trying to extend plays, getting outside the pocket, buying time, and guys still aren't really able to get open. And you got fools on Twitter talking about he holding the ball too long. I mean, duh. You think Bryce Young wants to be getting hit? I'm pretty sure Bryce Young can get the ball out within 3 seconds. He would, but he can't do that if nobody's getting open. Why do you think he's running outside the pocket trying to buy time? It's like we just define our logic when we just want to push a narrative why somebody is a bust. It's so crazy to me. But the Panthers, I don't really like what they got around Bryce Young. And I don't even know if I even trust them to win the NFC South anymore. Like, I'm really concerned about the way the Panthers are kind of going into the start of the season, man. This is a bad way to go into the season. Your rookie quarterback is getting thrown around. It looks like child neglect back there. Your franchise left tackle just looks like he just has taken a complete step backwards, allowing Kayvon Thibodeau to give a JBL clothesline to hell to King Bryce. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on down there in Charlotte, man, but I don't like it. I do not like how much Bryce Young is getting hit in the preseason. And you people need to stop making it seem like just because it's the preseason, the shit doesn't add up, bro. If you're getting smacked in the preseason, you're going to feel that when you wake up. These hits add up, bro. It kind of looks like the Panthers are setting Bryce Young up to fail. Now, I'm not bailing on these boys yet, because the only reason why I still have faith in Carolina to win this division is because last year I picked the Jaguars around this time to win the NFC South. That's when I changed my tune on them. And they struggled the first half of last year, and then they kind of got better during the later half of the season. So maybe that will happen with Carolina. Maybe they will get better as we gradually progress throughout this season, but I don't like what I've been seeing from these boys in the preseason. Really disturbing the kind of hits that I've been seeing Bryce Young take, or see him take.